This is Valley News Live at noon.
A gloomy start to our Friday with mild temperatures and a little rain, but the temps will be falling as we head into the weekend, bringing a chance of snow flurries. So let's get right over to meteorologist Lisa Green for what we can expect today and into the weekend.
Well, good afternoon. We are still dealing with the cold front that's working its way through the valley, and that has triggered some rain showers and potentially some snowflakes as well here in the valley. Here's a zoomed in view of what we've got going on still from this morning with the front moving through. We've got some areas of rain and snow just east of Fargo, Moorhead, and down toward Wahpeton, Breckenridge, and back over toward north of Detroit Lakes along Highway 59 between Monoman and Detroit Lakes. We have some rain back up to Bemidji and into Hubbard County. And this does stretch down toward Wheaton and Elbow Lake as well. So expanding the view and adding our satellite data here too, you can see we've got some mostly cloudy skies throughout much of the region. And there's an area of snow trailing this up to the northwest, up in the Devil's Lake Basin. We may see some of this snow affect us as we head through the rest of the afternoon here today. So still dealing with this system, and it's going to continue to bring cooler air and wind gusts that get up to about 30 miles per hour or so out of the north. And we are seeing a gust to 29 right now in Fargo. And temperatures as a result have really dipped behind the front. We are around freezing or even below in many places in eastern South or North Dakota rather. And then more into Minnesota, Fergus Falls, Wadena still holding on to some milder temperatures, but the front's headed through your area too. And here's a look at your hourly planner. Mostly cloudy skies. I can't rule out again a sprinkle or a flake or two as we head into the afternoon. And temperatures that stay cool. We're looking at 30s to some 40s for today. We'll let you know if we've got any improvement for the weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
And we'll stay tuned with you in a few minutes to see what happens the rest of the week and during the weekend. Thanks, Lisa. Well, an elderly Minnesota woman is hurt after being dragged through a field by a piece of farm equipment. The Caney-O-High County Sheriff's Office says the 79-year-old got entangled in the machine Wednesday afternoon near Atwater and pulled through a field for about 400 yards. She was taken by an air ambulance to a hospital with what are said to be non-life-threatening injuries. Police in North Dakota are running a speed enforcement campaign starting today, targeting speeders and aggressive drivers. It runs through May 23rd. The Highway Patrol says crash deaths so far in North Dakota are trending higher this year. 25 people have already died on state roads so far in 2021. Look, CDC advisors are holding a 6-hour meeting later today on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and the blood clots that have been linked to the shot. Vaccine hesitancy is one obstacle towards achieving herd immunity, but as Laura Podesta explains, health experts say Americans should worry more about getting COVID than any side effects from the vaccines.
A federal advisory committee may lift the pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine today. It comes more than a week after distribution was halted, following reports of rare but dangerous blood clots in fewer than a dozen people.
Over 6 million doses. The number of these reported blood clots was still, exceedingly rare.
The FDA will likely now require a warning with the shot.
I think too many people may be scared off by taking the vaccine. They shouldn't be, but perception is everything when it comes to vaccines.
Officials are also investigating the death of an Oregon woman who developed a clot, though it's still unclear if it was related.
It might be about a week or later before they're able to conclusively decide on the cause of death.
Bringing the Johnson & Johnson vaccine back into circulation means an additional 10 million doses. But across the country, vaccine appointments are increasingly going unfilled.
We are not seeing patients that have been vaccinated being admitted to the hospital.
Younger people are making up the majority of COVID patients at Goshen Hospital in Indiana.
Infections are going up, hospitalizations are going up, and both of those things are unnecessary.
Abby Hall got COVID in December and is still dealing with health issues.
If something health-related pops up in my life, I'm always like, is this new or is this COVID-related?
Researchers at Yale University recently launched a study looking into whether the vaccine may actually help alleviate the lingering symptoms in some so-called COVID long haulers. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
More than 135 million Americans, 40% of the population, have received at least one shot. A local woman is having adverse reactions to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. She spent the last few days in the hospital following doctors' suspicion of blood clotting. A few tests showed bleeding in her sinus cavity. Experts say these kind of reactions are extremely rare, but it's a good idea to check in with your doctor if you're experiencing any symptoms weeks after getting your shot. And help is on the way for people who are suffering from lingering symptoms of the coronavirus. Local health care facilities are aiming to find treatment and relief for those who are referred to as COVID long haulers. Essentia Health says they are rolling out their post-COVID rehab program, and Sanford Health isn't far behind.
Sometimes they'll need pulmonary rehab, sometimes they'll need long-term oxygen, or sometimes they just need physical therapy to build up their endurance.
Doctors say it typically takes 4 to 6 weeks to recover from COVID, but if you still have symptoms after that, you should contact your doctor. North Dakota lawmakers are overriding Governor Doug Burgum's veto of a bill that would prohibit state officials from mandating face coverings. The House voted 66 to 27 yesterday to override the governor, and the Senate voted 32 to 15 later in the day. Burgum said state law assigns the governor the responsibility to minimize effects of a disaster or emergency. Bill sponsors say there's no proof that masks work to slow the spread of the coronavirus. Now, the governor's veto of the transgender sports bill remains in place. It would have restricted transgender girls from playing on girls' sports team in the state. The House brought it back to the floor yesterday and overrode Burgum's decision, but the push fell short by 4 votes in the Senate. The Moorhead Police Department is collecting unwanted and expired prescription medications. It's happening tomorrow as part of the National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. Officials say most abused prescription drugs are obtained from family and friends, many times from your medicine cabinet at home. Drop off your expired medications tomorrow at the Walgreens in Moorhead along Main Avenue or 30th Avenue South. The Clay County Law Enforcement Center also has a drop-off bin in the lobby 24 hours a day. This week, we've been partnering with the Golden Drive to help children in need across the country or community. Due to overwhelming support from our viewers, we're going to keep it going for another week. Here's a look at how much food has been collected just since Monday. Hundreds of items like noodles, peanut butter, jelly, bottled water, and juice boxes will go to help local kids facing food insecurity. Every item collected, big or small, makes a big difference.
School getting out, these children, they're without breakfast. They rely on schools for meals. They get breakfast, your lunch, they're taking meals with them when they leave school.
If you'd like to help, drop off items at the West Fargo Fire Department by 4 this afternoon or any day next week between 7 and 4. A pop-up food pantry in West Fargo is happening today. Stop by the parking lot of the Lutheran Church of the Cross at 1402 16th Street East in West Fargo between 1 and 3 this afternoon. They also announced the food pantry will continue until next month to help meet ongoing needs. It's been extended to 2 more Fridays in May, the 7th and the 28th. Anyone in need of food is welcome to drive up or walk up. Stay in your vehicle and volunteers will place the food in your car. Quick thinking by a Moorhead police officer has earned him a life-saving award. Last week, Officer Zach Johnson overheard a call for service and rushed to the scene. He arrived to find a man without a pulse and not breathing right, so he started CPR. The victim regained his pulse after an ambulance arrived and a defibrillator was used. He was taken to the hospital. The Moorhead police chief says Johnson's actions saved the man's life and kept oxygen flowing to vital organs. Well, coming up at noon, traveling 1,500 miles per hour, NASA astronauts are now on their way to the International Space Station. And the weather is a little gloomy. Up next, weather up next, or weather to plan your day with meteorologist Lisa Green.